Hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we will be talking about Boolean operations. And last time we talked about comments. I will be including comments when we're talking about Boolean operations. Over here you can already see a few comments. Comments are like notes that ignore anything. The /* and */ indicate the beginning and an end. The double / indicate everything after the double / will be ignored. And similar to how this can be used in multiple lines, it can also be used within a line, whereas this can only be used as a single line or anything after a line of code. So this part will be okay, but everything after here will be ignored. So let's start off talking about Boolean operations. Boolean operations, well, first we need a Boolean variable. So let's call a Boolean var equals true. And then we can say Boolean var2 equals true. We have two true Boolean variables, and we can do certain operations on them. We have our first operation, which is called an AND operation. An AND operation means both the first and second part have to be true in order for the result to be true. So this Boolean operation will look like Boolean result equals var and. This sign is called an ampersand, shift 7 on the keyboard. Shift and then 7 will give you the sign. For our AND operation, we need two ampersands and then var2 and our semicolon at the end. So if we print out our Boolean result, %b is our Boolean format, then we can print out our result. If we save this and print out and we run it, we will see true at the bottom, because both of these have to be true for the result to be true. Result is the AND operation of both of these variables. Actually, instead of having this, I think it would be simpler if we just did true and true, and then we run this. True and true will give us true as our result. If we have true and false, we have false. So both of them have to be true in order to be true. But since one of them is false, then we cannot have a true statement. If we switch these around, if we make the false one true and the true one false, then it will still come out as false because one of the two is false. And if both of them are false, then we will see false because neither of them are true. And when you do an AND operation, your variables are going to be of a type Boolean and a type Boolean, and your operation is called a logical AND, and your result will also be a Boolean. So this one is called a logical AND. And our next operation is called a logical OR. So an OR means one of them have to be true, or both of them have to be true in order to be true. And OR is two straight lines, or shift / shift and the key above the enter on the very right side of the keyboard. That's how you get the straight line. So if one of these is true, then we will get a true result out of it. So we get true because one of these is true. If we switch these around, if we make this false and we make this other one true, we should still get a true result, and we get true. If both of these are true, even though when we think of OR, we think either this or that, but in Java, when you say OR, both of them can be true and it'll still be true. And if both of them are false, which means neither of them are true, then our result will be false. And our last operation is called a NOT. We just call this a NOT because the logical part won't really matter. NOT is just like it sounds. If we have true, and then we put an exclamation point. An exclamation point is the symbol for not. Not true is false, so we will get false at the bottom. And not false is true. So if we run that, we will get true at the bottom. And those are our three basic operations for Booleans. We have AND, OR, and NOT. And what we can do for those is we can actually create things called truth tables, which tells us the value of them. So if we create like a table and we have variable 1, and then we have variable 2, and then we have result, for AND, we would say true, true, and our result is true. For true, false, it's false. For false, true, it's false. And for false, false, it's false. That's the AND truth table. For our OR truth table, we have var1, var2, and result. And these variables, they're all Boolean types. So if we have true, true, then our result is true. If we have true, false, then our result is false. If we have false, no, our result is true because one of them has to be true and one of them is true. This one's true. True or false will give us true. False or true will also give us true. And false, false gives us false. And our not truth table we only have one variable. We have var and we have a result. So because the not, remember up here, we only had one variable up here, or one value rather. A not is only done on one value. So our value could be true and not true is false. And if our value is false, not false is true. And these are truth tables. You will probably encounter them if you're studying computer science. These are good to know, like what all the possibilities are for getting various results. Why do we need to know all of these different truth tables and everything? Well, because we will get into some things where we can decide whether or not we want to go in this direction or a different direction. Like which direction should the program take if it's true or false. We'll get to that in future videos, but there are some things in previous videos that I skipped that I need to talk about with operations as well. We only talked about operations with floatings and floating point numbers with other floating point numbers, but what if we mix our operations? What if we want to do a floating point operation with an integer operation? How does that get handled? That's what we'll talk about in the next video.